Welcome to the C.L.I.M.B. This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. What is leverage, you ask? It's a strategic advantage. It's the power to act effectively. And we want to help you gain that strategic advantage and the power to make stuff happen. It means you're coming in with business. You're coming in with a reputation, not with potential. They can already see what's going on and they want to make it bigger. Whether you're a writer, whether you're an artist, that's what you're going to need to succeed in the new music industry. And that's why we called this podcast The C.L.I.M.B, C.L.I.M.B, creating leverage in the music business. It's a backronym. And the genius that came up with that is my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter. Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And what I love about Brent is he helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, do business like a pro. And not only that, he actually connects you to the pros on a regular. And you can find Brent at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. Daredevil has created over 25 national TV opportunities for their indie artists by making them discoverable. They've also created multiple tour opportunities, and through the power of digital marketing data, they've attracted a number of investors for their artists. And investors love those numbers because numbers can't lie because numbers can't talk. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production singular, no S, and there is no S because there is no other Johnny D.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, doing all right. This last weekend, we got to take Ruby Jean to Build-A-Bear for her birthday. She got a little Paw Patrol Sky.
What's that?
Build-A-Bear.
Is that like the Bilderbergs? Like, is there some shady world domination stuff going on?
There is world domination that happens. So obviously you don't have 5 kids.
No.
So yeah, it's a place in a mall that you go and you stand in line and they have these stuffed animals that you can buy at, for that kind of price is whatever. So all these different genres of stuffed animals, but they're not stuffed. And then you get to buy accessories, pick out your deflated doll, or in this case,
so it's like a doll carcass, like what happens
when
it's
a carcass. Yeah. They've shed their skin, something sucked their innards out, and then you go buy their accessories and get birth certificate, little sounds, the scents and stuff in them, so you can get stuffed with whatever. And then you go and you get them stuffed. And so you can record sounds, put them in their paw. So you squeeze it. It says, "We love you," or "Happy birthday," or whatever the animal's catchphrase is. If it's a tie-in doll.
Oh, wait, that's South Park.
And all kinds of stuff. So she got the Paw Patrol one. So it has all like, this pup's got to fly, and whatever her catchphrases are. And you can do all this stuff, add-ons, scents and little heartbeats and all this kind of stuff. And we literally stood in line for an hour after we got her in her stuff to get it stuffed.
Yippee.
Happy birthday, Ruby Jean.
Happy birthday, Ruby Jean. Build-A-Bear.
Build-A-Bear.
Not to be confused with the Bilderberg.
Nope. So anyway, that
what are we going to learn? What are we going to learn today?
Not about that. We are going to learn about. You're going to pose a question and then hopefully give you some good answers. The question is it necessary to go to a school like college or university to learn how to write songs and get in the music business, or is there a better, faster way? You're going to go to college for this stuff, university, or not?
I get an opinion.
I've run across once or twice, and we have some thoughts on it, and I'm sure you do too, Johnny.
All right. Well, before we do that, let's take care of a little business here. The C.L.I.M.B podcast, as always, is proud to partner with disc makers who have been supporting indie musicians before indie music was even a thing. When you're ready to make CDs, DVDs, vinyl, which is, by the way, outsold CDs and downloads last year.
Wow.
Vinyl did. That's kind of crazy. Or distribute your music and videos with customized USBs. Go to discmakers.com. That's DISC as in Charlie, discmakers.com. The only place you need to go.
That's right. And while you're there, click on the Guides and Resources tab and download some of their excellent free guides. They've just revised and expanded their home studio handbook, which has a ton of great advice and information, both for newbies and studio veterans. You can find them online at www.discmakers.com or give them a call at 800-468-9353. That's 800-468-9353.
That's right. And if you haven't joined the C.L.I.M.B community, please do so. Search for the C.L.I.M.B community on Facebook. Ask to be let in. We let everybody in because we're always nice until it's time to not be nice.
Exactly.
And that's when you get roadhoused if you can't follow the simple rules.
That's right.
This is a great community for you to ask songwriting questions, marketing questions, different strategies. Lots of people join in and have an opinion. And every time I read them, by the way, I don't know about you, but I always feel like they're good. They're solid. Like I'm always like the fifth one to comment or something. I'm like, these are all great. And I'll add something.
Right.
It's not like, whoa, hold on. That's not the way to go. Like
let Johnny come in and fix everything. But you can tell, people have been listening. People have some good ideas, good input.
Yeah. I think so. And subscribe to the podcast if you haven't done so already. So all those Tuesday full-on episodes and Friday mini-sodes come right into your podcast player, wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and you can consume them at will, bounce around to whatever one you want, but it keeps them in order. Take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star rating and review. Let other people know how you feel about it. And finally, the best possible pat on the back, the best possible validation that you could give to Mr. Brent and myself is to share it. Tell a friend, tell a fellow songwriter, tell a musician, tell somebody else. Share, if there's a podcast episode that sticks out to you, share it on your social media and tell people why you like it. That is social proof, straight up, and that's what gets other people to listen to us and expands our audience, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the art and the artist in front of new eyeballs, right?
That's right. And speaking of reviews, I think we have one, don't we?
We do have one. I'm going to read that for you because this is
an iTunes review.
This is crazy. Yeah. It's a 5-star review, and it's by C.L.I.M.B. C.L.I.M.B, which is Liam. I don't know. C.L.I.M.B. That's how you would pronounce that. This is crazy cool. It says, J&B have completely shifted my worldview on the music industry and injected a new sense of hope and excitement about my career as a singer and songwriter. I value this podcast more than my MBA and undergrad in marketing. Thank you, C.L.I.M.B.
Yeah, thank you.
That's about, one of the coolest reviews we've ever gotten, I'm pretty sure.
That's awesome. So, yeah, that does my heart good. And it's completely on topic.
Yeah,
which
right?
is even better. It was next in line. C.L.I.M.B, you're reading our minds.
Thank you, C.L.I.M.B.
I know. Thank you. That's amazing. That is. I know. So we go over these right before, like, hey, what's the next one in the queue? Johnny read that to me. I'm like, dude, seriously, that is exactly what I want to talk about today already. So
that just happened on the 14th of February, which is cool. So it takes a few days to sort of pop up and become visible.
Awesome review. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today is it necessary to go to a school, college or university to learn to write songs, get in the music business, or is there a better, faster way? Well, C.L.I.M.B might say that this very podcast is more valuable.
I'm going to go with that. I mean, that's what he said. That's not what he might say. That's what he said.
What he just said. If you don't believe,
or her, it might be a girl. Yeah, I'm not sure.
What this wonderful person said, you can go to iTunes, check it out for yourself, and while you're there, leave a review if you feel so.
Yeah, beat that one.
So we're not going to contradict what our fellow climbers have to say. I'm going to agree that you don't have to go to college or university to get some sort of like specifically like songwriting degree or even music business to break in, or if you want to be an artist. I don't think you have to do that. Now, like C.L.I.M.B, which is not a pen name for myself or an alias, I also went to college. I went to Arkansas State University. I got my undergrad in human resource management with the hours for a minor in marketing. And then I stuck around and got my MBA, my master's in business administration. So, C.L.I.M.B, we have something in common. And I didn't go to school for songwriting, but you know what? I'm making a living in the music business. And I've had hit and I've had cuts. And so, I'm just kind of some living proof that you don't have to go to college for that. Same thing with you, Johnny.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I went to 1 year of college at UW Whitewater, Wisconsin. Just did not want to be there. That was a promise I made to my dad. He's like, look, you got to go 1 year. Just if you like. But I think he knew it just wasn't going to be for me. But then we got that contract to go on tour. So I was like, see ya. Yeah. Went out and did the rock and roll thing and learned that way.
Yeah. And my wife, she did a little community college and she moved to Nashville and went to cosmetology school. And now she makes a living from the music business as well.
Oh, there's so many things there's so many places I could go, but I'm not, because she's a Christian.
Yes. So I'm just joking. I love my wife.
Big old open door.
just making jokes here. So, okay. So yeah, here's the deal. I don't have anything against schools or schooling. Okay. So yeah, I went to college for like 6 years. Okay. So obviously I'm not anti-college. So, between me and John, we average out to, like 3.5 years, just about getting our bachelor's. So, in schools, here's the thing though. I know some very talented, successful musicians who went to well-known music schools like Berkeley, Belmont, MTSU has a good music business program. A friend of mine, Odie Blackman, teaches there. I don't have anything against them.
I love Odie.
Yeah, Odie's awesome. That's right. Odie. So nothing to say against him, but I don't think that it is a must-have. If you want to get in the music business, if you want to get, songs on records and stuff, that you have to go to a school. And the big thing is rack up all that debt to do this for a living. Johnny and I are both living proof you don't have to do this. To do this for a living.
Rack up debt other ways.
Well, I guess you're free to do that, America. The thing is, those schools are expensive, man. I don't even know how much Belmont is. It's hugely expensive.
Crazy expensive.
Vanderbilt is a Nashville buddy of mine. Went to Vanderbilt as a way to get down to Nashville and to also get a good education. And this person does music full-time for a living, didn't go to school at Vanderbilt for music, but he's still paying for it, I'm sure. Paying for that Vandy education, probably will be for quite a while. Vandy's a great school. Very expensive. And I was like, oh boy, there's probably better ways you could have come down to get to Nashville than picking the most expensive school.
Like 80 grand a year or something like that?
Something like that. Ridiculous. I don't even know. Arkansas State was not nearly that.
A lot of hookers and heroin.
The thing is, it's called opportunity cost. That's one thing I did learn in college is opportunity cost. Where you give up in order to do something else.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have priorities.
Gosh, kids, listen to this. So anyway, that's the deal. I didn't go to music school. I went to business school. So all my songwriting training was through self-study, was through books, through co-writers and workshops. And I didn't even have blogs or podcasts at the time because there weren't really any. All right.
That's right.
Definitely no podcast at the time. And it took time, but I eventually learned enough to get some cuts, to get some hits, and to get some publishing deals. And here's the thing. I think you can learn faster than I did if you're willing to focus. So I think there are so many more ways to learn songwriting from anywhere in the world now than there was when I was back in Arkansas, right? When I was putting my time either at Arkansas State or after I got out of school and was working in a cubicle at Alltel for a couple of years before I finally moved to Nashville. Heck, John, you and I give out free information every week through this podcast.
Yeah.
And I also do through the songwritingpro.com blog. And Twitter and Instagram and all these places you can go and you can get free tips and resources and all that stuff. So that's free that we're giving out every week. That's a whole lot cheaper than tuition, right? Also, there are paid courses and coaching where you can learn from the pros. Like the great thing is you can get like personalized attention for just a fraction of the time and cost of one semester in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. I mean, I've spent a significant chunk of change on Facebook coaching, on digital marketing coaching, and how to work the algorithm, how it works, how to make Facebook work. And here's a really good point that I would like to bring up to this, because my coach is Rick Mulready. That's his name. He's a big time Facebook coach. Yeah. Like he's got 1 million podcast listeners. Like he's insanely good. Super, super good guy, super knowledgeable. And he came into my awareness through his podcast, and I was, how Confucius says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right?
Yes.
Well, he appeared and I was ready. And so I paid to go to this event that everybody that was at the event got there because they bought his course first. And the course is like $3,000. It's not cheap. But they got the course, and then they paid to go out to this event in San Diego. I went out to the event in San Diego because it's the first thing I heard of. I'm like, I'm going, and everybody else like a little bit farther ahead than me on different ways to work that stuff. But you know what I found out? That one of the strengths that I have, that I bring to my company and to my clients, is the creative. This class is teaching you how to work the system, right? How to work the Facebook ads, Facebook business, back-end dashboard.
It's kind of teaching you the science of it, right? The
science of it. And like, you can't be, if your objective is going to be conversions, but you don't have a pixel on the page that you want to convert to, Facebook can't convert. So if you spend money to do that, it's going to stop itself. But it's still costing you money.
Yeah.
But it's saying we're not getting conversions. Like, oh, and then the price goes crazy. So you have to know what you're doing, right? To work the machine. It's kind of like being a NASCAR driver. Like, it's one thing to have the fastest car. It's another thing to have a good driver.
Right.
And you have to know how to do it. And so the creative, though, was, I had great, like some of the prices I was getting because in the Facebook and the Google marketing, it's on a auction, right? So the more interesting your content is that you're trying to push out there, the lower the cost.
Yeah.
So when I'm getting 10-second views for a penny, everybody else is looking at me like, wait, what? And they're getting 50 cents. It's still, it was a moment of pride for me, but it's those other people still making money, right? Because they're 50 cents for the 10-second view or for the conversion, getting way more money, right? From an account or whatever. So it makes sense. It still makes sense financially. But my point is, and I had the same, I'll be honest with you, like a kind of a snooty attitude, a snotty attitude. It was probably wrong, but when I was a musician, if somebody said they were like from MIT, like the Musicians Institute in Hollywood or whatever, the first thing I did was inside my head, I rolled my eyes like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of times they came with an attitude or whatever. And you can learn about all the music that you want to learn about. You can learn about all the lyrics that you want to learn about, but it's not going to replace the feel, right? It's not going to teach you to be vulnerable. It's not going to teach you to find the pocket. It's not, some people do, some people don't. I'm not knocking it. I knocked it back then. I'm being honest with you, but but now I don't, but it's still, what I learned was, okay, these are tools that you can use, but you don't walk out of there like, okay, now I'm a musician.
Right.
Now I'm a songwriter, because maybe you're not.
Yeah.
There's still, the heart has to go in there. And the only way to get that heart is to do the work, right? And to study the people that you love.
And I think, going to your example, to the Rick Mulready thing is, say you did the course. I don't know what the price of the event was. Say the course is $3,000. That's less expensive than a lot of colleges.
Yeah, certainly Vanderbilt.
Certainly less expensive than Vanderbilt. More expensive than ASU was at the time I went for a semester, but who knows what it is now. It's been quite a while. So probably comparable to semester college, but you're learning, you picked what you wanted to learn, a very targeted thing that's going to help you make money. And so it's an investment that's going to help you make that money back.
Already paid
versus,
off.
There you go. Versus, a lot of college stuff, how much do I still use from my MBA stuff? Even though I'm in business, I have a music business. How much do I still use from that? Versus, you can go, okay, I need to learn, a guitar teacher, they can get personalized instruction. You're going to use what you learn. Yeah. Because you're learning how
100% of it,
all that stuff you're going to use. The stuff that I teach, if you're smart, you're going to use it. You're going to use it when you're writing your songs. And there's a lot of stuff in colleges. You talk about your core classes and that kind of stuff. Like, everyone's got to take the math classes. Everyone's got to take the whatever classes, the kind of the gen ed classes that you're not, that's not right on target, but you're still paying for them, still taking your time. You still got to do the homework and all this stuff. I think one of the ways to speed it up is you can say, what are my deficiencies? What do I need to learn? And you can go out and you can piecemeal together something that's really just as good as if you spent 4 years, I think, to go to a major college that has a music program or a music business program, that sort of thing. I mean, I was studying it just from books, and that was before Amazon was really up and kicking. And I was going down to Barnes and Noble and Books A Million trying to, scour the shelves for some music business books.
Yeah.
You have so many more resources now.
Can I don't want to hijack your episode here, but I got a lot to say about this.
Oh my goodness. Buckle up, people.
I mean, so every time I would get like a new account, I would do that. I would treat myself to 3 books from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I get them used, so I'm paying like less than $10 a book typically.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely did I pay over $10. And that's where I learned what was really going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like the schools have they're good for like a lot of things that they're always going to be good for, right? Like certainly,
med school.
What's that?
Med school.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about even any college. Like I remember my ex-wife Ann, still friends. She went to NYU, and we would travel all over the world and run into somebody from NYU. Like it was an alumnus, and instantly you're in crowd. Like it got us through doors. It got us through into parties we weren't supposed to be at or whatever, but we could because she had this connection and just found out like that second, right? Not like, I know I had this friend from NYU. It's like, oh, you're from, oh yeah, yeah. Hey, well, we're going here tonight. Okay, you should join us. It's like that, right?
Yeah.
So the alumni, the community of it is really good. I think it teaches you how to take care of business. You have deadlines. You have to work towards that. So I think that aspect of it is good. But I think that, and I'm being very honest and very real with interns that we have. We are blessed by the grace of God to have. I've grown my company on the Belmont intern program, and we get some great people. Like out of all the interns I've had in the last 5 years, there's only 2 of them that were like major busts, right? Everybody else was really right there wanting to learn and do everything. But the stuff that I know that they teach is not accurate. And specifically with social media marketing, which is a very changing thing. So I think if you're talking about school or you're thinking about that, you're also going to be, there's a filter there, right? There's a filter of who's teaching, what the school wants you to know and doesn't want you to know. And that's real stuff. That's real. I mean, they're taking stuff out of history books now because they don't want kids to learn about stuff. I mean, it's disgusting. So some of it, you just have to know that, what it's good for and what it's not good for and what you can bank on and depend on and what you have to take with a grain of salt and decide for yourself if it makes sense or not, I think,
Yeah. And F chord is not going to change.
Right.
But other faster, cheaper ways to learn it. As far as that goes. And about school, because I want to give a balanced, argument on this too, is yes, there are a lot of people that came up through, say, Belmont or MTSU, that the network, the relationships is probably the most valuable part.
Exactly.
Someplace like MTSU, you get some access to recording equipment, to studios, that kind of stuff too. So that's something to take into account, right? But also it's the people you run into, the friends you make, that sort of thing. I mean, Brad Paisley, Chris Dubois, and Frank Rogers all became friends at Belmont. And then they started C.L.I.M.B together. And with kind of Chris as a lyricist and kind of the business guy, Frank as a producer and songwriter, and Brad as a songwriter and the artist. And they had this kind of triumvirate thing that, this trinity that blew up and became Brad Paisley. And C.L.I.M B is a very successful publishing company. And Frank has produced other hit artists and like, what's his name? Hootie, Darius Rucker, and other folks. So,
same thing with Florida Georgia Line. They met at Belmont and started working together. Yeah.
So a lot of people meet at places like that because you're in a target-rich environment. A place where you can meet a lot of people that are similar to you. But the thing is, what if you're not able to transfer? What if you're already out of school and you got a job and got family? Like, I can't quit everything, go full-time at Belmont and go meet co-eds.
Yeah.
In the dorm room and go play and hang out at night. What do you do then if you've already passed that kind of, or you just can't afford however many grand a year as a semester it is, a minute for Belmont or Vandy or whatever. Right. What do you do then? I mean, the thing is, I think if you have the ability to listen to this podcast, and obviously you do because you're listening, there's no excuse for you to put off your music education. I mean, believe me, if you want to get paid for like writing songs and for your music skills, you need to invest in yourself and your craft. Okay. Because there are a lot of people competing against you for a spot on a record, on a stage, or on a record label that are investing in themselves. Either they are doing a Belmont thing, a Berkeley thing, Vandy or MTSU thing, right? So how do you compete with that? You just be smarter about how you spend your time and your money.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do a lot of the education and even a lot of the same networking or a lot of similar networking without spending all that money on tuition.
Yeah.
And have homework. As much homework anyway. So, I mean, I believe that, a little time and or money invested in your craft can save you years and thousands of dollars of costly mistakes down the road. I think your learning curve can be so much faster just from listening to this podcast on your way to your day job or your way to school. You can learn a ton. And apparently people like Shamalama Ding Dong or whoever left that review. I don't have
Shanna-Liam. Yeah, Shanna-Liam.
Yes, that. Agrees, right?
Yeah.
I got an MBA in marketing, and I value this more because you get into the real world stuff. Kind of as it happens, we're able to talk about this stuff as it's going on. But also, the Songwriting Pro blog. There are blogs all over the web. There are membership sites. There are interviews. We host Know the Row events with people in the music business over at Freddie.com that you can join, and that's like $5 a month, and you can join and ask pros your questions. Mm-hmm. Get in front of people from anywhere in the world.
And find out what's going on right now. Like what kind of solo cups are they selling this week in the music industry? Because it changes. Yeah.
I mean, we have a Play for Publisher event coming up with Scott Sherritt of Rare Spark Media. And we've already closed down taking songs for that. But the 10, songwriters that are chosen will be able to sit in a virtual online room with Scott, play the songs, get real world feedback from a real publisher this is like for real. If he really loves your song, he can really do something with it. Mm-hmm. And the advice is real in real time.
And if he really likes you and thinks that, okay, you know what, this song isn't something that I can do with, but I think there's a good songwriter in here.
Right.
And he can start making a relationship with you. Mm-hmm. And, hey, when you're in town, stop by the office kind of stuff. Like that's just, I can't believe you only charge $10 for that. Like, honestly, what a great gig. I mean, what a great, like for $10, even if you don't get into the top 10, you get to look at all the
replay
and just hear how people are being critiqued, and you find out they're not monsters, right?
Right.
He's not like, this totally blows. You should just go back to working at McDonald's. Like it's not like that,
No, not at all. Yeah. And that's $10 to submit a song. You get that hour and a half of replay, if not the live event, because you and your song's chosen. The Know the Row events are, if you're a Freddie member, which is like $5 or less a month at this point, you can get to show up to those about once a quarter, often more, and other stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of stuff that's out there that you can educate yourself on at a minimal cost, and it's packed in there. There's not it's all killer, no filler kind of thing. If you find the right places to go where there's not a lot of waste of your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know in school there's so much that I'm not using, what I went to school for.
Yes.
And it's not because, I got my master's in business and I got my undergrad in human resources. Yeah, I don't do human resources. And some fields are much more technical where you do use a lot of that stuff you learn in school. Yeah. Most stuff isn't really that way. You get out and what's the first thing you have to do? You get a job. You got to get trained.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's skip that. Let's go straight to the training.
Yeah. And to provide balance to the argument here, mm-hmm. There are still a lot of jobs out there that you can't even get the interview without the degree. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be a degree that's relevant to what the interview is about. Mm-hmm. It just has to be a college degree. You can have a bachelor's, or don't even bother showing up because that's the company policy. Like we want you to have gone through college. Again, I think that filters out some people that know how to take care of business. They don't make excuses. Mm-hmm. There's still plenty of people who make excuses when they get out of college. Don't get me wrong, but it's a little better. It's a better kettle of fish, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how many of those are in the music business that must have a degree.
I don't. Yeah, no, they're not. Okay. They're not, but I'm just saying, like, because I could easily start bashing on some stuff, but I don't want to. I see the pros and the cons. So I had a conversation last night. There's a climber. Her name's Annie Havey. She's coming to Nashville. She's from Philly. She's going to do 6 songs with me. We record 6 song demos. We were picking, like, she sent me a boatload of songs, and she's like, I'm not sure. Like, out of my 250 songs I've written, these are the 30, I think she sent me that I that are the best ones, but I can't decide from there. Can you help me? I'm like, of course. So we went through them together and we were just talking. And it's funny, like, first of all, she's a great, very naturally talented writer. Like really, really strong, melody wise, lyric wise, pretty good. And she, she digs deeper on some than on others, but I think that's every songwriter, right? You do, it's just here and there. Yeah. The thing is, she just doesn't even listen to music because she's afraid of, like, she told me she's afraid of plagiarizing anything, Oh, wow. And so I presented an alternate opinion. I said, look, I'll give you a personal example. There's one time when I tried to, as hard as I could, to write Don't Let Me Down from the Beatles. And it came out like a really cool song, but a completely twisted version of, I just love the way that song starts, the chord that it's on and the note that he's hitting. It's just, the tension is just so cool. And I wanted that so bad. I just got done with it and the dust settled. I'm like, this is nothing like that. But I was trying as hard as I could to plagiarize that damn song. I couldn't do it. So I said, man, go for it. And I kind of turned around to Travis Meadows. I said, because she's a very raw, emotional writer. So like Travis, she goes like, here's what's happening to me today. And she doesn't pull any punches. And you're like, whoa, like, this is cool. Yeah. Like, and you get the feels. And so I was like, man, you go listen to him. And then I also directed her to Brandy Clark's 12 Stories record. I'm like, I think you're going to dig this because it's just real. It's just real life. And I think these are two things that you would really like, but study them. Right? Like, study that and like, watch how they put those words together and stuff and how, because she has a natural ability for that. And I think a little inspiration, she's going to, Lord knows where she's going to go, you know? Like,
and how much does that cost? Yeah. Right. You see, however you get access to those songs where you can listen to them again and again. And I mean, I used to get, of course I was always going to, in Jonesboro, where I went to college, I think it was Hastings, and going and buying CDs and all this stuff. And I'd go and I'd open it up, look at the lyrics, because back when they had lyrics and CDs, and they had CDs in stores, and they had stores in towns, and I would copy them down, or I'd type them up on the computer and print them off and keep them places where I could see them and just study these, what I thought were really stellar lyrics. Yeah. And what did that cost of a CD? Of course, now you don't even have to do that.
Yeah.
Access,
in 30 seconds, you can access the lyric online and the song on a streaming service.
Yeah. I use Amazon Unlimited now for most of my listening, and you can find stuff. And a lot of times it has lyrics on there, and bam, there you are. And that's what I do weekly, to go through and study some current stuff. I'm still doing that. Yeah. Very inexpensive. And so, and that's, the big thing is music schools are not a bad thing. I mean, heck, I haven't been to one, so I can't say from experience, but I know people that are making a living in the business that have been to those places. So obviously it's not going to, stop you from being successful or anything. But a lot of you out there, a lot of you climbers out there can make big gains in your songwriting and in your music career with a lot less time while spending a lot less money. And I think that's the important thing. We want to be as effective as possible and as efficient as possible. So, and here's the deal, and here's my segue. If you feel like you're ready to get more personalized, focused attention, I have a good opportunity for you. Because I don't want to just, say what you could do. I'm like, hey, here's an actual opportunity. Not just, you can do stuff cheaper and easier. Well, here's something you can do. Right? Listen, in April of this year, and basically kind of every April, so twice a year, I host the C4 experience. Or C4X. And that's your opportunity to really focus in on writing more commercial songs. You get expert coaching and a small supportive community. There are only 10 songwriters that do this every 6 months. So it's a small group, and it's online. So you can join us from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. So odds are, if you can listen to this, you can join us. And tickets are on sale now. And like I said, it's limited to only 10 songwriters. I know there's less spots already available than that at this point. So how do you find out about that? Just go to giftfrombrent.com, download my free ebook, Think Like a Pro Songwriter. You get the free ebook, and then which also is free education, and then it also puts you on the Songwriting Pro Insiders list to find out about opportunities like this. So that's one thing you can do. That's a step you can take today if you're interested in upping your music education.
Tell them how long it is. Like it's So it's not like a one-time thing, right?
No, it's every Tuesday night in April is on this go round.
So it's 4 Tuesdays.
And so it's actually 5. We do 5 nights. Tuesdays. And so what we do is the first 30 minutes, you get a free copy of my workbook called Cuttable. You get a free copy of that. And so you do your homework ahead of time. And we meet for the first 30 minutes is kind of reviewing the lesson that you did on your own time. And then each night we have 2 spotlight songwriters. And so they're 10 writers, 5 nights, 2 each night. And for 45 minutes, we just do like a one-on-one coaching session. Except, we have some flies on the wall. The other writers are there to watch. Because a lot of times you can learn from other people's mistakes and strengths.
Yeah.
And so they'll say, hey, here's a song I want to go over, or here's some ideas, or I have these questions. And so we're going one-on-one, and then everyone else gets to watch that and also learn from that. And so each person gets a 45-minute slot on that. They get the book, and the review section each night. And then also, so you're there for like 10 hours of coaching for other songwriters, basically, or 9 hours, I guess, of coaching for other songwriters, which is really valuable as well to be a fly on the wall and learn from, because a lot of times by the end of it's like, oh yeah, you're making the same thing John was doing in 2 weeks ago. Remember we talked about that? Da-da. It's that reinforcement stuff. So it's, normally for coaching, I'm $150 an hour. And so this works out to about $20 an hour.
Yeah.
For the people that are there, for the 10 writers that show up. So it's a lot better value, but it's packed. So I encourage you to check that out. But if that's not for you yet, still podcast, blog. There are all these places.
Song title challenge.
Listen to that every other week. Yeah. So I hope you guys check that out. But the bottom line is there's no excuse not to invest in your songwriting career. The time, you can be very efficient with it. The money can be very efficient and targeted with it. So don't think you have to quit your job, go live off student loans, and go to a music college if you want to make a living in the music business. You don't have to do that.
That's right. And if you're at MTSU, Odie's cool.
Odie's great. He knows what the heck he's talking about. He's got some number ones and he's still getting cuts, and he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So, that's right. Other ways as well.
Yeah, that's right. If the school will let him, you can see Odie on the side over by the seesaw, and he'll tell you about songwriting.
Exactly. Kind of like talking
sleep on my couch back in the day.
Yeah.
I love Odie. But anyway, all right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of another killer podcast episode. Join the C.L.I.M.B community if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the podcast. Take 30 seconds, leave a rating and review, 5-star rating if you can, if you like us. And finally, share it with somebody. Put it up on your social media. Tell other artists, other songwriters, other musicians in your band. Tell them about it, because if there's something in there that's beneficial to you, odds are it could be beneficial to them. And if you're feeling about it anyway, like C.L.I.M B is, then they're going to thank you for it. So this podcast exists because we want you to win, guys. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.